All right, Susan, you ready?
Yes.
You know, in this podcast, we get to a section where you're going to help me do what we do every day. So we have two visitor centers. People call us, they ask us, they text us, they Facebook us, they everything. They ask us questions. You're going to help me answer some questions in a segment we call We Get Questions.
I'm used to that.
That's right.
All the time. Every Tuesday.
These are going to be questions that I hope are not as pointed as the ones that supervisors
Hopefully not.
Okay, here's the first one we got. This is at the Plaza. Someone came in and said, we are waiting to check into our hotel, but it's not until 3 o'clock. So we have 4 hours on the Plaza and want to taste some wine and have some lunch. Do you have any ideas?
They're talking about the Sonoma Plaza?
On this, touche. They're currently on the Sonoma Plaza.
Beautifully landscaped, treed with benches and picnic
It
tables.
does have a 200-year head start on the Springs Plaza, but yes.
And a little bit of a size advantage.
A little bit of a size advantage. And the fact that the city hall's in the middle of it.
And they maintain it.
And they maintain it.
Just
other than that.
The best way to get to know a community is to hang out in the community. Bring your coffee, go to Basse Boulangerie, bring your sweets, bring your lunch, go to the picnic table, people watch, check out who's walking through the park, look at the ducks, have fun with the ducks.
Gotta have the ducks.
And imagine what history has created, 150 years ago in deeding that plaza for the community. So we are creating that history at right next to the historic rail depot in Boys Hot Springs. That's historic building.
That's right. That's right. Because where the old train would come in for the excursion trains.
Train tracks ran right up Sonoma Highway.
Yeah.
And so just envision that you're sort of waiting for a train. Maybe that should be one of the murals.
Oh my gosh,
of
waiting
a
for
train
the train.
with people with suitcases.
The boys. I love that.
And
some people can make like sculptures.
Indeed.
Of waiting for the train.
I want to see art blossom, and I would even contribute. The other exciting thing is I love public art.
Yeah.
I have not been able to get a public art program adopted by the board yet. It's sort of sad for me.
You got 3 months.
It's not going to happen in 3 months.
Okay.
But I am not above begging and pleading for public money to do art.
Yeah, I love that.
And we've used our tourism impact funds to hire Artscape to paint the little utility boxes along Highway 12.
Which are really neat.
More to come.
Okay.
The Caltrans, we signed the contract with Caltrans, so
Okay.
there's more to come. I'd love to paint the retaining walls along Highway 12 with murals. Love to paint the side of the Matson building with murals, but it's actually the Center Plaza building. No, we cannot paint that yet.
Right. If you don't own it, you can't paint
We
it.
can't paint it,
Right.
but we have asphalt.
Yeah, you
Let's
paint that.
Let's paint a mural on the asphalt.
You can do a lot of things.
Or use that chalk. We could have chalk art contests,
Yes.
as
Okay.
they do in many cities.
So, quick answer to the question, go to the Plaza, hang out, see people. I'm going to say real quickly, you mentioned the Basque. You can also go Mary's Pizza Slice Shack. If you want a quick slice of pizza to chill there. You can go to Girl in the Fig. You can go to El Dorado Kitchen.
Sunflower
Cafe.
You can hardly get a seat at. The
It's
Red
a
Grape.
beautiful garden.
You know, all of my favorite. And I just had lunch at, I'm going to get the name.
It'll come to you.
Della.
Oh, Della Cecina. Yeah, it's a good spot.
Fabulous lunch.
People don't get Italian food enough. Every time I go to an Italian restaurant, I'm like, I need to go to get more Italian food.
And every time you turn around, there's another new restaurant opening.
I like that.
I
a new coffee shop coming in.
I don't spend a lot of time wine tasting.
Right. Why? Because you live here?
Yeah, I live here, and I'm not going to go pay $15 for wine tasting.
I will tell you what, though. You could get the Plaza Tasting Pass, which we have, and that allows you, for $69, you have access to 3 wineries. You can choose out of 11, and so it's roughly 50% off tasting.
And hopefully they're staying here and not driving.
Right. No, they're chilling here.
I actually have to drive 30 minutes up the road.
There.
So
so
I'm
don't
very
drink and drive.
careful of my consumption.
Right. Like, stay here, walk around, or get a driver. Okay, another question.
A lot of water.
Another question for you. We just got into town, and someone said to go to look at the Mission. What is the Mission, and why should we visit it?
That is such an excellent question. Yeah. It took me so long to figure out what is the Mission. And you will have to, really explore history. But Just go to north of the plaza. There's the Hotel Toscana. There's the barracks up there that you can peek in and walk through. And try to envision from any of the pictographs or drawings what it was like at the very beginning.
Right.
When it was part of the mission system. And we have to remember the Bear Flag Republic. This was the capital of California.
For a brief, shining 21 days.
That's right. And then Santa Rosa stole that state
Well,
capital.
no, okay, so that's so Santa Rosa, okay, now that's something we got to talk about later.
We could have
when Santa Rosa stole the county seats. And Sonoma has not forgiven Santa Rosa.
No, they haven't, but the consolation prize is Sonoma has stayed small and beautiful.
We have the Plaza.
And you have the Plaza. And look at Santa Rosa.
They've got 101 and the mall.
Yeah, and I worked for years on Reunified Courthouse Square, and their Plaza.
It's in the process of becoming.
Oh, it is so. It's a sea of concrete. It's what
they're working on it. The mission is
beautiful artwork. However,
beautiful artwork. The mission is the last mission built by the Spanish. Came here as part of their conquest of California. They would plant missions or churches, and the goal was to convert people. That really actually means Native Americans and the indigenous. It did not go well for the Native Americans, the indigenous. So just to be very
glad
clear.
You said that.
It was just to be very clear.
For Native Americans.
And also the Spanish Empire, they used the church as a way to kind of advance the army too.
Of course.
And they were trying to keep the Russians, believe it or not, at bay, who were coming down from the north. And also the British were kind of had designs like, we want this part of California. So you can go visit the mission and see the different, as you mentioned, time frames that occurred between the Spanish period, the Mexican Empire period, the California Republic period, the Italians that came here went to Toscano Hotel. So it is an interesting time. I think they do a good job grappling with history and the way we understand our history and how we talk about our history and how we contextualize it. The state parks do a great job. It's $3. Go visit the mission.
It's well worth your time to visit, and you can understand and appreciate the crude living conditions that people were living in.
Yeah, and they were short.
Even in moderate Sonoma County, it still gets darn chilly in the winter.
And this was the, pardon my French, this was the ass end of the empire, so they did not care. Right. So when you were sent up here, you were like the back and beyond. You were just like,
forever.
Go out there. Yeah.
And I think everyone should really get an education of the very sad treatment that we have perpetrated on our Native Americans. The Trail of Tears and moving across the nation is just horrible.
Susan, I think it's funny, not funny, but like when I look at how people of different times were educated about Native Americans, I think my kids received a much more clear understanding of it than maybe my parents might have. But an insight I have, did you know that like in like 1955 to like 1965, the number one shows on American television were Westerns. Yeah. And there were like 78 Westerns on TV in this period. And so a lot of what we learned back then was maybe like mythologies based upon
and the
entertainment.
Cavalry. Send the cavalry.
Right. And some of these were big stories, and all those movies that might not have been an accurate representation of actual history until you go back to the source material.
Essentially, that movement west, Horace Greeley, was a land grab.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
We really didn't care how many people we annihilated and chased off the land.
It's we grapple with our history, It's
we do. And it's really good to approach it with an understanding of what really happened.
Yeah, and I think the mission, if you go there, like often people say that about the mission, they said, go look at their exhibits. They're constantly reinventing how they look at it. So,
and we have some amazing historical societies here that document both in Glen Ellen and certainly Sonoma Valley.
Oh, we've got 3 competing ones in Sonoma.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't say their names; they'll show up. Okay.
I know you forget one.
What about me? Okay, here's a question we got. We got 2 more that we're done here. I love this question. What should we do with babies?
Cuddle them.
When they ask, I'm like, in general or in Sonoma?
We should be in the business of procreating them. I'm not sure where that question is going. If we're in Korea, their business is procreation.
And that's everyone's on the back end of the demographic dividend. Yeah, we're having some problems here. I think this question was about I have a baby already, and I'm coming to Sonoma. So they've already figured out the procreation. Yeah, so they figured that out. So here's the question. maybe what they're asking, I'm inferring this.
This is good. You're good. You're good in context.
Yeah, what should we do with babies in Sonoma?
That's a great question. And it's been 45 years since I had a baby in Sonoma. And I've had grandbabies in Sonoma. I would say, number one, depends on the age of the baby, but if you are older than a baby, Train Town.
Oh, Train Town's a great one.
People come
1-year-olds and up can go there.
miles to go to Train Town. It is a great experience.
Yeah.
But the Plaza also has, thank you to the Rotary, newly energized Tot Lot.
Yeah, the little park's
fabulous, fabulous little swings and slides and
It's a great
places
park.
for kids to dig around in the sand.
Yeah.
And don't forget that kids like to walk. Maybe
do.
not far.
Right.
But we have the Sonoma Overlook Trail.
It's a good one.
And just feed them raisins along the way.
Well done.
And maybe you can get them to the top if you're really energetic.
Feed them little raisins like here.
Raisins or carrots
Kids
work
love
really
that
well.
stuff. Isn't that weird?
Yes.
Yeah, that's smart.
High glycemic.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah,
Yes,
get the sugar going. Yeah, I like that.
Just keep going.
Well, and then also at the end, you can take them to the ice cream shop. Go to Sweet Scoops, go to Chocolate Cow.
Yes, the infamous Ron Wellender said there's a scoop waiting.
Oh,
for you.
I know.
You
Isn't that
just
Ron?
need to come over here.
Ron's trick to get you to a meeting is he promises you ice cream.
Yes.
And then you leave with 5 things to do.
Well, and I do the same thing. I invite him out for lunch, and I say, "Oh, I have this idea, Ron."
Yes, back and forth each
He
other.
no longer wants to accept invitations from me.
It's terrible.
But you could go outside of Sonoma.
You
because
absolutely could.
Maxwell Farms Regional
Oh
Park.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can go the whole valley.
Newly
That's a great park.
renovated.
Yeah.
If you wander up to Kenwood, they have great park.
Yeah, the Kenwood Community Park's
by,
beautiful, or Depot
by-
Park. It's
by the
beautiful.
Kenwood Depot.
Yep.
And so parks up and
Okay.
down. And if you have older kids, we have regional parks.
Yeah.
Sonoma Valley Regional Park. You can
Easy
go
to hike,
hiking.
flat parts of it.
Sugarloaf,
Glen Ellen.
not for
That'd be
necessarily
like teenagers.
the babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe like adventurous, middle schoolers.
Indeed.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And connecting kids to nature is the most rewarding and most important thing to do.
Right.
And just take the time. Watch them play with rocks.
They love it.
Watch them play with water. I had a great time one winter watching my grandson trying to build a dam around the gutter of the driveway, trying
yeah.
to stop the water. Oh, wait.
Hours of entertainment.
Let's get another rock. Wait, we didn't do it.
I can just see your husband with the hose around the corner, like more water.
Enough rain that Christmas.
Keep him busy.
Christmas.
All right, that's right. That's a good answer. And so the supervisor says first have the babies, and then once you have them, go to all these different things.
And expose them to history and to people, and take them out in restaurants, and because they need socialization. And
slap that up.
And of course, hug them. And if you have a village of relatives, let them have it.
Good. I love that. I was going to say slap the iPad out of their hands. Get them out there into the world.
Get the phones out of their hands. Yes.
Well, see the world, kids.
This is world time.
Go see it. Okay, here's the final question I got for you. This one came in today.
Okay.
And I'm glad that you're here to help me answer it. I've been quite busy in my career. It's a demanding job that entailed a lot of decision making and scrutiny. Now that I'm retiring, I would like some ideas on things to do in Sonoma Valley that don't require me to attend meetings, adhere to budgets, or hear complaints. Do you have any ideas?
I may have a few ideas. What I tell people is this supervisor is not going to retire. She's going to be engaged in community projects, just as the Springs Community Plaza. And my retirement gift that will take me till the day I die probably is the Sonoma Valley multi-use path.
Okay.
From Agua Caliente Road to Melita Road. And you can imagine how challenging that is. It's like the Napa Vine Trail on steroids.
Susan, you probably don't remember this. When I first took the job here, I was working at Sonoma County Tourism. I came down here. One of the first things you said to me, you gave me this enormous PDF, and you said, we need to do a trail all the way down to Sonoma from Santa Rosa.
Yes.
And here's the plans. We've been working on it for like 30 years. What can you do? And I said,
You said, good luck.
I'm right on it, Susan.
Well, I was at the Sonoma Valley Vintners and Growers holiday event, and I said, I'm going to need your help because there are a lot of wineries that will really love to have a Sonoma Valley Trail there for visitors and recreational riders alike.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of vines and a lot of right-of-way to
some easements we got to do,
And I had a number of people say, sign me up. I'm willing to go. A lot of folks who are cyclists out there.
Yeah.
But Michael Muscardini, he's maybe my age, maybe a little older. He looked at me and he said, are we going to be young enough to ride a bike when this is done? I said, maybe not.
I'll get you a scooter.
We're going to get Bo Sapper with his 3-wheeled
scooters.
Yes, his
little,
out there,
okay, I've got.
And we'll put little pennants in the back.
Right. You'll have fun. All right, so that's true. So if this theoretical person was going to retire, it sounds like they're not going to retire. They're going to stay active and engaged.
Yeah.
However, I could say to that person, they could do things like join the Sonoma Splash swimming pool. And take classes there. They could go on a Sonoma Adventure bike rental.
See, there we go.
They get e-bikes are very easy to get around.
And be careful. I've fallen on an e-bike.
Well,
Not
and then
fun.
right, so
be
they could
careful.
carefully go on an e-bike. They could go up to Robert Ferguson Observatory.
That is a fabulous thing. We used to take our kids to the SRJC Observatory all the time. It was the best nap time I ever had.
Well, they were at I was at the Botanical Garden for an event, and the observatory was there setting up. I saw Saturn through a telescope, and I know I say it blew my mind. I was like, I cannot believe I'm seeing Saturn. It was so clear and so amazing.
Well, the last 2 nights
cool.
I've been just agog with the supermoon and the full moon.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
Out.
Don't take it's like taking a photo of the Grand Canyon with your phone.
No.
You can't get it.
The first night I did because it was coming up behind Sugarloaf, and I had just enough light on Sugarloaf that I could see the gorgeous moon. Last night was just a dot.
I just get a dot on my phone,
Fuzzy
and I'm
dot,
like,
because I have horrible iPhone.
So if you're going to observe the heavens, you could also join, for example, Sonoma Petaluma Parks and be a volunteer there.
Right.
You could go to Safari West, which I think you've been to once or twice.
And bring a credit card.
But you can see the lemurs for free. and ready for this? Like you could do things like in January, the full moon sound healing from Euphoria Arts. And they do like some sort of artistic thing. This will be at Flatbed Farm. So they're going to be, you could go do that.
The next full moon. Well,
this is in January. This will be the January one.
And hopefully it's not raining then.
It's kind of a wellness thing,
Yeah.
What I also told this person who asked me this question, they could always volunteer at the Visitors Center. We always are looking for volunteers. It's a 2-hour shift. You work with the worst people. You have to listen to this podcast. Other than that, it's a great job. And it's a fun time, and people they're having a good time. So it's a good game.
There are so many ways that people could volunteer.
Yeah.
And I encourage everybody who's bored to start exploring, because the minute you go out, the minute you engage, the minute you meet with visitors and the community alike, you are filled with happiness and gratitude that we live in such a beautiful place, and that you want to share that, especially for the folks who want to come and enjoy it and then go home.
Well done. And you know what? I've got nothing else to say to that, Susan. I'm going to leave it at that.